All right, let's jump right in. We spend a fortune on tech, firewalls, encryption, all the fancy gadgets. But what if I told you the biggest security risk, and maybe your single greatest defense, is walking through your office doors every single day? Today, we're talking about building a human firewall, how we can transform our people from a potential liability into a core part of our cyber defense strategy.
So, let's start with a number that should really make you sit up and pay attention: 74%.
That's right. Nearly 3/4 of all data breaches involve a person. Someone clicking a link they shouldn't have, using a password that got stolen, or just getting tricked by a clever email. And look, it's usually not someone trying to do harm. It's just human error.
And believe me, this isn't some abstract, theoretical problem. Just think back to the 2022 Uber breach. An attacker didn't break through some super advanced firewall. They just socially engineered an employee to get administrator access. It's a perfect and kind of scary example of how even the biggest, most tech-savvy companies can be brought to their knees by one single human mistake.
So, that brings us to our first big idea, the human weak link. It's this fundamental realization that security is just as much about people as it is about technology. Okay, so what's the fix? Well, we need a roadmap for security that actually addresses the human side of the equation, something that goes way beyond just checking a box.
And here it is. This is that roadmap, the Cybersecurity Awareness Maturity Model. Now, I'll let the name scare you. Think of it less like a report card telling you you're doing a bad job and more like a GPS. It's a framework that shows you exactly where you are, where your gaps are, and how to build a stronger, more resilient security culture.
And here's the real magic. The whole point of this model is to shift your organization's entire mindset. You want to move away from doing security training because you have to for some audit and move towards a world where people are secure because they want to be, because it's just part of the company's DNA.
All right, Section 3, the 5 maturity levels. Let's break down what this journey actually looks like, step by step.
So the whole journey progresses through these 5 stages. You start at non-existent, then you move to being compliance-focused, then you start promoting awareness. You get to long-term sustainment, and the final goal is having a full-on metrics framework. So let's take a quick look at what each of these really means.
Level 1? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's the Wild West. There's no program, no training, and your folks have no clue they're even a target. Your human element is basically a wide-open door with a welcome sign for attackers.
Now, level 2 is where so many organizations get stuck. You've got a program, sure, but it's only there to check a box for the auditors. You know the one. It's that boring, mandatory training everyone clicks through as fast as they can once a year. It satisfies the rulebook, but let's be honest, it does absolutely nothing to actually change behavior or reduce risk.
Okay, next is level 3, promoting awareness. That's when you start sending newsletters, running phishing tests, really trying to get people engaged. But to really get the goal here, let's jump ahead and compare that check the box level 2 with the much more mature level 4. Look at this. The entire mindset shifts. You go from a "we have to do this" chore that's focused on auditors to a "we want to do this" culture that becomes part of your company's DNA. This is the big transformation we're all aiming for.
And at level 4, sustainment, that culture becomes a reality. Security isn't some special project anymore. It's championed by leadership. The training is always fresh and updated, and it's just second nature for everyone in the organization. Level 5. Now this is the peak of the mountain. Your program isn't just cultural, it's scientific. You're using real data to measure everything. Phishing click rates, how often incidents get reported, how effective your training is. You can actually prove your return on investment to the board and use those hard numbers to constantly fine-tune and improve your human firewall. So, part 4. Where does your organization stand? Now that we know the levels, let's get a little personal. It's time to ask a few tough questions.
First off, just think about the frequency. Is your security training that one-time-a-year event that everybody dreads? If so, you're probably stuck in that level 2 compliance trap. But if it's constantly being reinforced with things like phishing simulations, newsletters, and regular reminders, well then, you're moving into level 3 and beyond.
Now, how about resources? For a lot of companies, security awareness is just a small piece of some poor person's job in IT. But a mature organization, they invest. They have dedicated people, they have dedicated budgets, and that commitment is a huge sign that you're taking this human risk seriously.
And finally, here's the big one, data.
Could you walk into a boardroom meeting and show a chart that proves your training has cut down on phishing clicks by 50%? If you can, you're absolutely operating with a level 5 mindset. If you can't, you're probably flying blind.
Okay, last section, climbing the security ladder. So you have a good idea of where you are now. The real question is, how do you get to that next level?
Well, it all starts with getting leadership on your side, and you do that not by talking about tech, but by talking about business risk. From there, you expand your training, you make it engaging and actually relevant to people's jobs, you invest in the team running it, and this is crucial. You measure everything so you can prove it's working and tweak your strategy as you go. And if you're wondering if all this effort is worth it, oh, it is. The payoff is huge. Just look at this data. Consistent training and awareness can slash phishing susceptibility by a staggering 86% in just 1 year. I mean, that is a massive reduction in risk.
And at the end of the day, this is why we do it. Because when a really clever, targeted attack gets past all of your fancy technology, that well-trained, alert employee becomes your last and maybe your most important line of defense.
So it's not just about the tools or the policies. It's about culture and achieving that cultural maturity, where security is a shared value for everyone. That's not just some nice to have. In today's world, it might just be the single greatest security asset your organization has.
So I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. When you really look at your people and your company culture, is your human firewall a strong, resilient wall? Or is it an accidental welcome mat just waiting for the next attack?